Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Monday morning. I hope you're doing well, whether you're watching or listening to this round the world. Thank you, as always, for joining me. I hope you're doing well. I got a sneaky feeling you're probably doing all right this morning, aren't you? I am pretty sure everyone else wearing an Arsenal shirt today or anyone connected with his football club's doing all right today because we absolutely hammered them. We stuffed them. Emirates Eze scored a hat-trick and he laughed. He laughed down the camera at them. Oh, what a day. What a day. What a night. Just a load of fun. I've been looking forward to recording this all morning. I had to do the school run, everything like that. And I've been looking forward. I've been preparing for the show. I've been going through all your comments, seeing how much you guys have been loving it for the last 24 hours. So really looking forward to this one. We're going to get stuck into the game. We're going to go over the big talking points. We're going to talk about Emirates Eze, of course. We're going to talk about Mikel Arteta's reaction. I'll go through my player ratings. Yes, he got a 10. You don't even have to wait. He got a 10. If you haven't seen the video I put out last night from the stadium, he got a 10. Of course he did. How could I not give him a 10? So yeah, player ratings, loads and loads of stuff to talk about and just revel in what was a brilliant day at the Emirates yesterday. What was I worried about? Why was I sitting here yesterday morning going, I hate the North London derby, hate it, always too nervous, never enjoy these sort of games? What a load of rubbish. I loved it yesterday. I loved it from the second we scored because there was only one team that was ever going to win that game. Yes, it got a little bit, not even nervy when Richarlison scored because, quite frankly, Tottenham were a disgrace to football. They were so bad yesterday. They were awful. What Thomas Frank was doing with that negative setup, I'll have no idea, and they got exactly what they deserved. It was just loads of fun. You know, I just actually not sat, and just enjoyed every single minute of that because it was great fun. I was right next to the away fans as well, where I sit, and you could just wave them all off as they just disappeared. They slunk off into the North London night, heading back to their corner of the city, feeling utterly dejected after yet another North London derby humiliation. So, should we get stuck into it? Let's get stuck into it, shall we? What a day. It was just brilliant from pretty much start to finish. Only one team was going to win that game. Yes, Tottenham managed to survive for about half an hour, 35 minutes, whatever it was, before Leandro Trossard broke the deadlock. But they were pathetic. I knew on the way up there, I'd heard that they were going 5 at the back, and it was the first time this season they'd done that, which I just think immediately sets out a bad message to the players. Like, yeah, we haven't done this all season. It's not the system we play, but we're going to our home of our rivals, and we're going to go super defensive. We're scared of them. We're going to go 5 at the back. We're going to have Bentancur and we're going to have Paulinho ahead of them. It was just so defensive from Spurs, and they managed to hold out for the first half an hour. But from the second that Mourinho played that wonderful ball to Leandro Trossard, and Trossard scored to open the scoring, there was only one outcome. There was only one outcome. One team wanted to play football. One team wanted to win that game, and the other team just wanted to be there and to go home as quickly as possible. And I just thought it was really, really good for Arsenal. They had to stay patient early on against that sort of brick wall, the back five, the Paulinho and Bentancur midfield that Spurs had. Arsenal had to be patient. They had to wait for spaces to arrive. And then they had to work out a way to sort of pick the lock. Mourinho did that with that pass. It was a brilliant run from Trossard, but it was a fantastic play. Yeah, Mesut Ozil plays that pass. We were talking about it for a long, long time. Fair play to Mourinho. Really good vision. He executed it perfectly, and it was a brilliant run from Trossard. Lovely touch. Yes, the finish got a deflection, which was a bit fortunate, but Arsenal earned that fortune with the way they played. They were the team on the front foot, and they found the way through. And from that moment, as I said, it was just only ever going to be one winner. The fact that the second goal came so soon, on top of that, just sort of, it just completely broke any sort of resistance that Tottenham had at that stage. Brilliant from Timber down the right-hand side. He was just absolutely majestic again. Jurrien Timber yesterday fired the ball into the area, sort of half cleared. I think it was Declan Rice who worked back into Eze, and the quick feet from Eze just to work himself that shooting position. That's what he's been signed for. I spoke about him in yesterday's show. I was sort of looking at those comments that Mikel made saying, I think there's more to come from him. And you could see there has been more to come from Eze. And yesterday, obviously, he can't get much better than that. But that's what he's been brought to do in those sort of games, when you're coming up against a team that has no real ambition to play football and are just sitting in, it's like, how do you find a way to break that sort of team down? It was something Arsenal couldn't do last season, but they can do it this season. They've been doing it since the start of the season. They did it yesterday. It was Eze with those quick feet, just a moment of magic that just Tottenham couldn't handle. And bang, the finish was in 2-0. I know there's sort of, could it have been offside? People have sort of changed. People have got sort of split opinions on that. I didn't notice it at the time. It wasn't until I got home and I saw the replay and I looked at it. I was like, oh, I mean, if it had got ruled out for offside, I think that, yes, Arsenal would have complained, but I think Tottenham probably have a little bit of a justification for thinking it could have been offside, but it wasn't. And when you see the replay from behind the goal, when he has the shot, Vicario has a clear sight of the shot, and he also doesn't complain, Vicario. It's not like he points out that the players are in front of him. It was just a really good bit of skill from Eze, a lovely quick finish, and Vicario just didn't set himself quick enough to be able to stop it. So 2-0 at half-time, and you're like sitting there saying, all right, start the second half well. Start it well. Tottenham made some changes. You knew they were going to make changes at halftime. They couldn't play the same way in that second half. So Frank had to do something. He did do that. I think when Xavi Simons came on and Danzo went off, but within a minute it was 3-0. And it was like a game plan, whatever that game plan was for the second half, was already out of the window for them. Again, Timber just brilliant down the right-hand side. Got a little bit of luck the way the ball finally worked its way to Eze. And then Eze sort of just about got the ball out of his feet, but the finish with the left foot, so calm. Just curled it into the far corner, 3-0. And you're thinking at that point, go on. I mean, we could get 5, 6, 7 here quite easily. I mean, their goal came out of absolutely nothing. It was, it was a brilliant goal. Fair play to Richarlison for seeing it, for trying it, for executing it. It was perfect. It reminded me of the goal that Ramsdale conceded against Sporting in the Europa League a few years ago. It was that perfect, right under the bar, just over the keeper's hands. He could try that 50 more times and he wouldn't do it, Richarlison. So fair play to him for that. My frustration was that it wasn't so much the goal, because, and I don't have any sort of portion of blame for Raya for that goal, by the way. It was Zubimendi, got caught in possession. Raya was where he should have been, where Mikel Arteta wants him to be. It was just a brilliant goal, and it was a rare piece of poor play from Zubimendi to get his pocket pinched by Paulinho. But my frustration with that was they just didn't deserve to score a goal. That was absolutely not a 4-1 game yesterday. It was a 4-0 game or a 5-0 game or a 6-0 game. They didn't deserve to get on the scoreboard. And that's what really, really annoyed me about that goal. Thankfully, we went forward and we completed the hat-trick again. It was brilliant from Heather. You watch that goal. Watch Marino's play for that goal. It's just top class forward play for Marino to play the ball out, to hold the ball out with his back to goal, then play it out to Trossard. Trossard feeds Eze. The touch from Eze, I'm not sure the Tottenham player who came sliding in, I can't remember who it was, but just the touch absolutely killed him, and then bent it into the far corner. Just a magical night for him. You could see the look on his face. He was laughing in the camera. It's just looking up at his family. It was just magical. He said after the game how he sort of prayed for that moment. He wanted a hat trick. He prayed for the hat trick and he got it. And you can just imagine he's living every single one of our dreams there. All of us watching. Imagine when we were growing up, you've all had it, scoring a hat trick against Tottenham at home at Arsenal. An Arsenal fan goes and does that. I mean, he's just absolutely living the dream, and you could see it on his face yesterday. And just an absolute brilliant day for Eze and for Arsenal. When you look at it, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, why it just annoys me that Tottenham got a goal. Because, I mean, that is not a 4-0 game. It's not a 4-1 game. They don't deserve to be on the score sheet for that. It was a brilliant goal, fair play, but 0.07 XG. It's pathetic. They were so bad. And I'm just glad we absolutely put them to the sword as well, which was really nice. I mean, XG of just under 2, so it shows the quality of Arsenal's finishing. Yesterday, could have had more, probably should have had more. Eze was frustrated he didn't get that fourth goal in the second half when he forced Vicario into a decent save. 8 shots on target, which is good to see from the 17 shots that they had. So they forced Vicario into plenty of saves and just an absolute domination from the home team. So Mikel understandably absolutely delighted. You saw him on the pitch after the game, really sort of walk around where we were sitting, pumping the fans up. You could see how happy he was with that. He says, a great day, enjoyed every minute of it. From the preparation since the moment the players came back from international duty, I sensed a feeling that they wanted to be together again and they were ready for a fight. They were ready for a big week and the preparation was top. Then you have to deliver it, obviously, with the energy that our people brought to the stadium. It made a huge difference. I think individually, the players were exceptional from minute one. They were super dominant in almost every phase of play. So, yeah, a day to remember. You don't win a derby 4-1 every time. And hopefully we made a lot of Arsenal supporters very proud and happy. You did, Mikel. Trust me, from someone who was in the middle of the fans, you certainly made a lot of Arsenal supporters very proud and happy. The stadium was bouncing last night, and I'm sure it was all around the world. Every Arsenal fan watching that. I've already seen clips from various pubs and supporters clubs from around the world celebrating that game. So certainly did make a lot of Arsenal supporters very, very proud and happy. The streets were buzzing after the game. The pubs were buzzing. It was just a fantastic afternoon. I mean, Eze owned it. Obviously, he owned it. He's the headline maker, hat trick. You know, as I said, the sort of thing that dreams are absolutely made of. And you can see Mikel was absolutely delighted for him after the game. He said, things happen for a reason. After the international duty, he had 2 days off. And after 1 day, he wanted to come back and to train. He wanted to improve. He wanted to do extra practice. He was asking me questions about this and that. And when a player has such a talent, his desire is at that level, then these things can happen. And he fully deserves it. I'm so happy for him because it's the day that he came. He brought something else to the team. It's a joy. It's an aura that this team needed. And hopefully it will give him a lot of confidence and the team that at any moment he can win us a game. That's the ability he has. And he certainly needs to fulfill that talent. And it has been a bit of a slow burn for Eze. As I said in yesterday's show, I think he's done fine. You know, he was playing in a position that's not his own position. And I think he's done well. He's filled in really handily for Martin Odegaard while he's been out. But it has been a bit of a slow burner. So he probably needed something like this just to really ignite his Arsenal career. And my goodness me, I mean, if that doesn't ignite it, then whatever will. It was just fantastic. And he showed all of his quality. It wasn't just that. One of my favourite things was his pass for Declan Rice early on in the first couple of minutes. That scooped pass that Declan Rice had the volley that Vicario saved. Just brilliant from Eze. Absolutely brilliant. That's what you want to see him doing. So it's really, really special day for him. Absolutely. And it was so important as well, given the weekend, given everything that had gone on the day before, Manchester City losing, Liverpool losing. You know, Arsenal had an opportunity to really take advantage of those other results, and they've absolutely done that. And you look at the league table now, a 6-point lead over Chelsea, who of course Arsenal go to next week, which is looking like an absolutely massive game. You know, had Arsenal slipped up yesterday, Chelsea would have had the possibility of even going top had they beaten Arsenal next weekend. You know, that can't happen now, obviously, but, you know, hopefully if Arsenal can go there and win at Stamford Bridge, what a statement that'll be. You know, yesterday was a statement, but if they can go to the Bridge and win next week as well, you know, it's just going to be a huge, huge statement to the rest of the league. I love that picture, by the way, of Bukayo Saka just laughing. I mean, I think he put that on his social media. Saka said, you guys can caption this. And you can just imagine some of the captions, some of the stuff doing the rounds, the content doing the rounds is just absolutely brilliant. I retweeted a fantastic one earlier. It just made me laugh so much on the story of Eze so far. And it's just some classic clips of Tottenham fans thinking they were going to sign him and then getting annoyed that they didn't. And then, yeah, just some really good editing, so just brilliant content around. Absolutely. It's just going to be one of those days where you absorb it. I should say, actually, before I move on to player ratings and stuff, that I'm sitting down with James Benge today. We're doing extra time on a Monday this week. We thought, why not? You know, why wait? Let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's talk about that game last night more in depth. So if you want to get involved in extra time later, get down into the comments, use extra time, give us your questions, your thoughts, your opinions, anything like that about last night's game, what it could do for the next week or so, what you should do for Bayern Munich, anything like that you want us to discuss in Inside Arsenal Extra Time a little bit later on today, then do get down into the comments and let me know. Remember, just start it with extra time. Right, here are my ratings then from last night's game. As you can see, obviously he gets a 10. You know, I've had so many questions. What do you need to do to get a 10 on your ratings, Charles? Well, I tell you what, that's what you need to do. You need to score a hat-trick. You need to become only the 4th player ever to score a hat-trick in a North London derby. You need to be the first player in the Premier League era to score a hat-trick in a North London derby. And you have to do it against a team that thought they were going to sign you in the summer until you picked up the phone to Mikel Arteta and said, don't make me sign for them, Mikel. Please sign me. Please bring me to Arsenal. Just a wonderful day. So, right, anyway, I think these are the same. I think I've put Timber up to a 9 because I was watching it back and he was involved in some of the goals. At the time, I didn't even sort of actually realise his involvement in some of the goals as well. So I've actually bumped Timber up to a 9. I think I've left everyone as is. I know Raya, people are looking at Raya and I normally get hammered for giving him a 6 when he's kept a clean sheet. Obviously, yesterday he gets lobbed from nearly the halfway line and I'm giving a 7. But I just thought he was so on the front foot yesterday in everything that he did. I know he had like no saves to make because Tottenham were just a joke. But he was so on the front foot with everything he did, and just sort of led from the back with the way he was playing. It was just sort of set the tone for everyone else. I thought I really enjoyed Raya yesterday, despite there was one dodgy throw out as well that was a bit notable. Maybe I'm being a bit generous, but I thought 7 for Raya. I just couldn't give anyone a 6 after that yesterday. It was too much fun to give anyone a 6, and 6 isn't a bad score. It's an average score, but I thought everyone had to go above that. So Raya gave a 7. Timber, as I said, I gave a 9. It was just world class again from Jurgen Timber. Defensively, did not give him a sniff. Just unbelievable. Snuffed out every sort of attack that came down his way. And then going forward, the impact that he made as well on the goals, and more than that, I just thought he was brilliant. So I gave him a 9. I gave the other 3 defenders an 8. I thought Hincapié, fair play. That was a really strong performance from him. So, like Riot, just on the front foot, aggressive, didn't give Spurs attack, if you can even call it attack, any sort of time on the ball. Just really super aggressive for a first start in the Premier League. I think it was his first start in the Premier League, wasn't it? Next to Saliba as centre back. I thought he played very, very well. I thought that was probably what the route that Mikel was going to go down. I was saying I'd probably have gone with Mascara, but I thought Mikel would go with Hincapié, and Hincapié certainly repaid that faith. I thought it was an excellent performance from him. So I gave him an 8, Calafiori an 8, and Saliba 8. I gave the 2 midfielders an 8. I probably would have given Zubimendi a 9 if he hadn't got robbed for the goal. Because I thought Zubimendi played really, really well. Again, really well. He's such a class act. It was a rare moment of, I don't really know what he was thinking for the goal. He held on for it for so long, and that's something Zubimendi never does. He moves the ball so quickly normally. So I don't quite know what he's doing there for the goal. There was still a hell of a lot to do though. But so I've given Zubimendi an 8, Rice an 8. I gave Saka a 7. I thought he was the most quiet of Arsenal's attackers. Saka didn't have a bad game by any means. Caused them problems, had a free kick that was pushed away in the first half, had a shot in the second half that Vicario saved, was involved a lot, but I just thought he was the quietest of the attackers. So I gave him a 7. Eze, obviously, I don't really need to say any more. 10, just genuine worldie of a performance that we'll talk about for years to come. I thought this was honestly up there with Trossard's best game for Arsenal. I don't know if I gave him an 8 yesterday in my initial video. I can't remember, but I'm definitely giving him a 9. I just thought he was excellent, like tireless, absolutely tireless. Obviously scored the crucial first goal, set up Eze's hat-trick goal, which I didn't actually realise at the time when I was watching, and I was looking at it when I got home yesterday. It was real quality from him, but just his all-round performance. It's up there with his best ever performance in an Arsenal shirt, I think. Trossard, he got an absolute standing ovation when he went off, and he deserved every single bit of applause that he got and bit of acclaim that he got, because that was a top quality performance from Leandro Trossard, and the goal was obviously absolutely crucial. And I gave Mourinho an 8, and I could have given Mourinho a 9. Mourinho really impressed me, I thought, yesterday. Like I said, his play in the build up to Eze's hat-trick goal was genuine top quality, absolute elite level centre forward play. Back to goal, spinning, and then working the ball out to Trossard to suck Tottenham players out of position and then have the space for Trossard and Eze and Saka to exploit. I thought it was brilliant for Mourinho. Fantastic pass to break Tottenham open to make it 1-0 for Trossard's goal as well. He was playing deeper than I've seen him play when he's playing in this false 9 position. He always likes to drop deep, but I thought he dropped even deeper yesterday, but it worked. It really did work. I thought he was excellent. So I gave him an 8, but it could have easily been a 9 for me. So well done, Mikel Merino. Subs who came on, Mascara, Madueke, Nwaneri, and Lewis Skelly. Quite late subs. I've got a question on that in a minute, so I'll talk about that then. But yeah, they all came out and helped Arsenal see out the game. Right, loads of you have been getting in touch. So I wanted to share as much as I can without it just really sort of dragging on. So I'm just going to rattle through some of these. I've got a few pages of these, but I wanted to get as many of you involved as I could, because obviously there's an awful lot of happy Arsenal fans around at the moment. So we'll start with Vanagana says, let's see that 10 out of 10, Charles. And I'm not talking about the TIFO. Yeah, how good was that TIFO, by the way? It's mad what you can do, isn't it, when you actually talk to fans and get fans to help you design something. It's pity they didn't do that for the Champions League semi-final, because it would have been looked a hell of a lot better. But I thought that was brilliant yesterday. So fair play to Arsenal, fair play to the fans as well involved in that. It looked brilliant, I thought. Irish Gooner says, hi, Charles, please can we give a special mention to Trossard? I've already done it. Irish Gooner, I agree, it's fantastic. You say the amount of fans that wanted him sold in the summer and given it out about the pay rise. He's been one of our best players this season. What a player. Saved us so many times, and especially saved us from buying Mudryk as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a very strong argument that Trossard has to be in top 3 Arteta signings of all time in terms of what he's delivered in terms of value for money. Just been a fantastic signing. And it is mad to think, obviously you never know what would happen if Mudryk had signed for Arsenal. Would he be a very different player than the one we've seen at Chelsea? Obviously don't see him anymore at the moment. But yeah, it's just been that's a real moment there. It could have gone either way. And Arsenal certainly got the better deal. Gareth says, were you surprised at Spurs' lineup and formation for this one? And can you remember an opposition manager going to North London derby with a setup that basically says, we can't win this, but we'll try not to lose? No, as I said, Gareth, I thought it was pathetic. I really did. I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, I don't care because it's Tottenham. But if I was a Spurs fan, thank God I'm not. But if I was, I'd be furious with that setup going 5 at the back. I just thought it was awful from them. Babacar says, hi, Charles. This game's further cemented my understanding of Arteta's response to your question on Ben White. Timber is currently one of the best players in the world. In my view, the best right back in the world. The drop off between him and White at this point in time is just immense. Similar to how Saka is undroppable unless absolutely necessary. Timber is currently as undroppable, regardless of who the second option is. White will need to elevate his level to top 3 right back in the world to get more than the odd game here and there. Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. And obviously, Timber is absolutely ahead of Ben White and pecking order, but I still think you need to protect Timber a little bit. Timber played the full game, I think, yesterday. He didn't go off, did he? And then we got Bayern Munich in midweek, and then we got Chelsea on Sunday. So, is he going to play all 3 of those games? Starting all 3 of those games? He started all 3 before the international break as well. And that's what I'm saying. There was a chance against Prague. That's you pick and choose your games. There was a chance against Prague that I felt like White should have played that game. I'm not sure this week because of the level of opposition that Arsenal have got. But, Ben White's still a top quality player, no doubt about it. But you're right. I mean, Timber now is just playing at a level that is just beyond anything, I think, in the world when it comes to right backs. DJ says, do you think Eze could potentially cover as the 9 when Marino is playing? No discredit to Marino, but he's just more technical in tight spaces and seems to break teams down more than Marino can. I don't really see that. No, I have to say, I think at the moment, without Gyökeres, without Havertz, I think Marino, when you look at what he brings to the team and how he helps bring it, and we saw that yesterday. And look, he did break the game open with a bit of play yesterday with that pass for Trossard's goal, but his hold-up play as well, back to goal. I'm not sure Eze would really be doing that. So I don't really see it as an option. I'd still say Trossard would be more of an option than Eze when it comes to that position. Jason says, what a derby. Hopefully Eze's performance shuts up some of the stick he's been getting. He's been amazing out there, playing at a new club, new position, new playing style, facing the sort of low blocks we regularly see. Takes time to get used to. Let that man settle and it will all work out. It does beg the question with Eze and Trossard in fine form. Does Odegaard walk back into the 11? It's quite a nice problem to have. Very much a first world one. Come on, you Gunners. London is red. Rob says, if Carlsberg did sporting weekend, 6 point clear of Chelsea, 7 in front of City and 11 of Liverpool. It was men against boys and we didn't get our third gear. Outstanding team performance. Eze, after the summer drama, it had to be him that stole the show. London is red. I Catch Bird says, so happy to have your videos, Charles. I hope you had a great night and you got home safe. Yes, I did. Thank you very much. Wanted to add, as a fan in the States, as I walked around Oklahoma City today in my Arsenal kit, I had 4 people stop me and congratulate me on the win. It was a proper thrashing. Glad you had a good one. I Catch Birds. Mark says, Charles, do you think we got a hint of rotation against Bayern given how late the subs came on? I don't know. I don't think so. I have to say, I think as soon as Richarlison scored that goal, I was like, oh no. Because I kind of knew that Mikel would be sitting over there, sort of standing over there, panicking a little bit and thinking, "Oh, can I make subs now?" Because it's 3-1. One more goal, and it suddenly gets nervy. I had a feeling that was going to stop any sort of subs at the 60-minute mark. Ricky says, "Great game, loved every second of it. Obviously, as he gets his flowers, but my God, Timber, just different class." Femi says, "Finally, give a player 10 out of 10. We, your viewers, would have come for you if you did not give Eze a 10. All the stars aligned. It felt like a full circle moment." Whitemore says, Eze, amazing, clearly man of the match, but Trossard is superb and Timber yet again outstanding. Couple more now before we wrap this one up. Beverly says, I love a good North London derby. Yesterday was up there with the best from the beginning with that wonderful displays to the final whistle. The whole team outplayed Spurs and deserved the 3 points. Well done, the Gunners. Josh says, Eze on 10. Mark this day. Great to meet you, Charles. That's from Josh and Kaylee. Fantastic to meet up with you in the pub yesterday before the game. Enjoy some drinks. Glad you had a good one. And that's Josh and Kaylee from Expat Everywhere. Check out their channel on YouTube as well, based over in Porto. Alielo, I think that is, says that was a great game from us. What a great atmosphere. Got to give it to the club for the TIFO, which was amazing. And finally from Chris, absolutely buzzing with a win only gripe was the lateness of Mikel's subs. We had Capio doing a lot of air miles, Calafiori having fitness issues. I thought at least one of them could have come off at 60 minutes. We were 3-1 out without being caused any problems. With 3 games in a week, it's not just about giving players a rest, but also getting minutes into the legs of the squad. Yeah, I agree. I would have kind of liked to have seen that. But I tell you what, I'm not going to moan, because this morning is just not a day for moaning. It's a day for enjoying every little bit of Arsenal content you can find, you can absorb. Go and find it, because there's so much good stuff out there. Just enjoy your Monday. And if you've got a Tottenham fan sitting next to you right now at work and he's just feeling a little bit glum, a little bit disappointed, his face smiles a little bit upside down, just find a picture of Eze, just slip it in front of him and laugh, because that's really what you should be doing today on this Monday morning. And that is it from me, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day, and stay tuned for Inside Arsenal Extra Time, because that's coming a little bit later on with myself and James Benge. Bye-bye.